2000, the year of the Lord.
Because you sound like Back to the Future.
What's the date again?
Okay, we ready? Yeah, because we're going to do like in La Feria, Texas. All right,
Okay.
you're on.
You're on?
Tell them what day
you're on.
it is and where we're at.
You want to begin the whole thing?
Start back in 18. Yeah, let's go ahead.
1812. Well, here we are in between La Feria and Harlingen on Bass Boulevard. And this is the year 2006, July the 28th. Today is a Thursday. I'm thinking it's Friday.
And it was actually July 27th, isn't it? July
27th, okay, I'm thinking a play day.
Yes, everybody's thinking it feels like it's a Friday.
The 27th. Even at work, I had a person or people that put on hold, and I said the 28th, and it was today.
Yes, all
I
right.
got to deliver tomorrow. Because I was wondering why they had come back so soon. So they went in their mail today. Are we on, Rich?
Oh, we've been
Alright.
going on that. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
thread, so this is part of genealogy we want to do for all the ancestries, posterity.
Mighty Daddies,
All the, yeah, to get to know Papa, the famous,
the infamous.
the infamous Esteban Cabrera. And I am the daughter, Lillian,
The only daughter.
the only one, known as Lily in the family.
Lily Cabrera.
So we want to have everybody get to know Papa a little bit more. He's going to get to tell us about where he was born.
Where was I born?
Yeah, and where he grew up and how it was, and to share just what you know. So you can start when you were born and where and your mama.
Let's go get that car.
Oh, okay. I'll be right back.
Well, I was born December the 26th, 1945, in a booming town called Charco, Texas. If you go today to Charco, you'll probably find about 6 or 7 homes.
Oh, is it that?
Small, yes.
Small,
Back in the
more
old
like a
days,
ghost town.
back in the 40s, I wasn't there, but I was told back in the 40s they had a barber shop and they had grocery stores.
Wow.
And they had all these things because they were growing and picking cotton. But then I heard that the grandparents, or my grandparents, came over here to the valley. It was booming over here, so they moved over here. Maybe in the late 40s or early 50s, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a small town just south of San Antonio?
It's by the San Antonio River. And I was born in a house right by the San Antonio River. And I was probably delivered by a midwife. Okay? And then I was illegal for so many years because I was born in a house. We didn't have transportation or these other things, and because of the lack of education or communication, I wasn't registered.
Oh, you were?
I was not registered right away, but then our midwife, I don't know, I wasn't there. But the thing is, according to the documents that I have on my birth certificate, it's a late. I was declared born so and so at a later date. So my uncles used to tease me when they came down here, and they said, "Well, we're gonna go to Mexico. We're gonna leave you over there because you're illegal." I was mojado.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any legal documents to be in the United States.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I used to get upset when they say, "La migra."
Get scared.
Yeah, I was frightened when I was a kid. But anyway, I was born there, and then our parents moved here to the valley. So as far as I can remember, we were in a small little house with 1 bedroom and a little kitchen. The restroom was outside.
Outhouse.
The outhouse.
Children.
Yeah, even the shower was outside.
Oh, the shower.
That's I remember. And then the next thing that I remember was that Mom said, "It's time to go to school. Time to go register to school." I remember that day I was playing outside, in the dirt underneath the bushes of the trees, and hey, we're gonna go to school.
All right.
Yeah. So.
And this was in which part of the city or town?
This was in Far.
In Far.
Yeah, our grandparents moved to Far, Texas. It's a little town back then. And the first school I went to was called Buell School. And the first thing that I learned to English was to say, "Teacher, may I go to the be excused?" Which I meant, may I go to the restroom? So I think back in the old days, man, may I be excused?
Yeah.
I learned it later on.
Yeah.
And I used to say, "Teacher, may I go to the be excused?" Everybody said the same thing. Oh, we had a lot of fun. But I always thought of myself as a Mexicano. You know, the gringos here and the Mexicano there. And we only spoke Spanish back in those days. Even in school spoke Spanish. And if we spoke English, you want to be a gringo and all this and all that. Yeah. So in school we spoke Spanish outside the classroom. But inside
the classroom, the teacher.
Yes, it was all in English. It was all in English, but we couldn't speak the language. We didn't understand that well. But anyway, we picked it up. Through the years, we picked it up. Then from there, we moved to a house called the Housing Projects. And the number was 1170 Housing Project Park, Texas.
Wow, Papa remembers that.
Yeah.
That
and now those buildings are gone.
Is it the same one where Grandma lived that I remember?
Yes. Yeah, the
Oh,
original
wow.
one. Right there by the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's a two-story house.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Napper School.
There you are.
Yeah, there he is. This is back in 1957 to 1958. I was a small whippersnapper.
King this is for you.
Yeah, and then I remember when I was in the 6th grade, before I went to the junior high, I got my first F. Ooh, was I mad.
Oh, in which subject? Do you remember what subject?
I don't recall, but it must have been English or writing or something like that. I never liked to read. I didn't like to read.
Ah, that's where Mom gets it from. I don't like to read.
I didn't like to read. I liked funny or comic books and just look at that there. And
Pictures.
I would get an idea of what they were talking about. But the thing was, I got my first F. And we had a lot of fun that year because we had a teacher named Mr. Trigo. And he was single and all the ladies were after him, the other school teachers, whatever. But he played with us. We had he played with us.
A lot of interaction.
And he was out there at PE and playing with us and all that. And the thing was, there at Napper School, he was so active, he gave us hard subjects, and we started to change classrooms. Just like in high school. And then we had a project to have some talent show. And I was dressed up as a nagger. They put black polish or something in our faces. And we had a song called Rockabye My Baby with Jerry Lewis. And we were four in the background, swinging around. And we had Richard, another Richard, and he was the main vocalist. He was imitating the song Rockabye My Baby with the Dixie melody. Yeah, and then they invited us to be on television, the Molten Tide Cop, which, rest in peace, I think he already passed away, at Channel 5 back in West Laco. And then from there, we saw ourselves on television. We looked really good, white eyes, white lips, but he was all black and white. And then from there was a lady from the community center in Far. She saw the show, and then we were invited to go to that show. The only difference was there was a young lad named Agapito Suarez, and he had drowned. He was a good swimmer, but he drowned in the canal, so he wasn't there.
Oh, that's a little
So we weren't sure. Yeah, so he was. Well, we had a lot of fun during that year. I enjoyed it. It was the best year of my life in school. Because he taught us everything. He took us to projects and he did other things. We painted the windows with water paint, so I got to draw all the things. It was a lot of fun. Nice. I learned a lot. But I got my first F. I didn't like.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there on I went to junior high, to Edison Junior High School. I graduated from there. And on my 8th grade, I didn't miss a day of school.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, but I had a certificate and I gave it to a girl.
Oh,
I
we
gave
don't
it
have
away.
Yeah, we don't give it away. We don't have
I
that.
gave it away
We
to a
don't
girl.
have that.
Remember that?
Yeah. Okay.
So then from there I went to the old high school and I went there for 1 year. Then they built a new high school closer to San Juan. And then from there I only went a few months. So I'll just go back. I quit school because I wanted to work. So going back when I was about younger than here, maybe about, I would say 10 or 11. I did my shoe shine.
Oh, shoe shine.
Yeah, I started my first job as being a shoe shine boy. And my grandfather built me a shoe shine box. I think it's supposed to be over here. No?
Over here.
Yeah, no, right there. Unless Carlos has it. No, it's supposed to be on the floor.
I'll see.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
No.
Look at this.
When I started school, I didn't know what my name was because my grandma called me Burrito. My mom called me Nino.
That's right.
All right, so I didn't know how to read or write or anything, and I was a little dummy, like playing outside, and I didn't have anything to read or write or whatever. So that when I started school at the Bill School, they called me Gilbert. So from that on to the 6th grade, I am known as Gilbert Cabrera.
Oh, I didn't-
So I have some friends that call me Gilbert. And then from the 9th grade, I'm Esteban. Or in other words, from the 7th grade, actually, it's Esteban. So as you can see, my initials here, I have Gilbert Cabrera backwards. So this was my shoe shine box. And I was there when my grandfather built it for me with some old lumber that he had there, but he took his time. I had a strap here and it broke from an old belt.
Belt.
So I went to Shine Shoes for 10 cents. You can see probably here, it's 10 cents. Alright? So the first time that I went to Shine Shoes, I made $2, was a humongous amount of money.
Wow.
Back in those days, you went to the theater and you paid 10 cents. This is 15 cents to go to the movies, the Spanish movies, and see 2 movies. You buy a popcorn for 5 cents and a drink for 5 cents. So it was 25 cents. You made it. You had it made. So I would try to get a quarter from my grandpa once in a while. So I felt really good. So then from then on, we started picking cotton. And this is why I learned how to get up early in the morning. My mom used to wake me up and there I was. And I picked cotton, I picked carrots, I picked tomatoes, and that was about it. Oh, I did some tying things.
During the summertime? Was it summertime?
During the summertime, yes, during the summertime. So I would make money to buy my own clothing to go to school. And back in the old days, we were all, how should I say, trying to help our parents, and especially those that didn't have a father. We used to help out our mammies.
Papa was.
Yeah. So I've been working from then on up to here. So I like to work. I like to do physical work. But I didn't like reading because I would fall asleep. All these other things. But then one day, my uncle named Brigido Cabrera got himself a job at a hotel called the Echo Hotel, and he was a party boy. So he said, "Hey, why don't you come on in?" And I was picking carrots. My hands were all messed up. So I went to the Echo Hotel in Edinburgh. It was back in about 1960. So I started my job as in the air conditioning. Now I mentioned picking cotton and all these other things, but I never liked them. But I went because I wanted to make some money. And I had a cousin named Junior Bice, and we went together, but he was always joking. He wanted to go swim in the canal, and wanted to eat the lunches from the trucks.
Troublemaker.
Yeah, troublemaker, yeah, troublemaker. So I didn't like that. Even we went to church together, to the Catholic church, and I started to go at 6 o'clock in the morning because he wasn't awake. And I went with the adults. If I went with him, he was just jiggling and this and that. And he went to the Catholic church. Our school, he went to the Catholic school. But he was a menace.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like the more serious thing. So when I got that work at the Echo Hotel, it was a new experience and a new thing because I couldn't tell the difference between a cup and a soup cup. They look alike except for the ear, and a cocktail fork and a regular fork. Because at home we only ate with tortillas. We didn't use any forks, just tortillas and rice and beans.
Grandma was a good cook.
Yeah, rice and beans. That was about
Rice and
it.
beans and her
We didn't have
tortillas.
meat.
Yeah.
So all my life, up to when I got married, I was thin. They called me skinny, whatever. But I didn't know anything about nutrition, and Grandma didn't know either. But we didn't have the money, the resources to get the meat or the vegetables. And the only thing we had was rice and beans and hot tortillas and Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. So when I used to go to school and eat at the cafeteria, it only cost 25 cents. But I could smell the white bread, the butter, and the mashed potatoes, the hamburgers, and all these other things, and then the dessert,
good stuff.
and chocolate milk. It was like a delicatessen for me. Change from tortillas to something else.
Some gourmet food.
Yeah, gourmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And the other thing is I didn't like to wear shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like to wear shoes, and I had to wear them to school. But we took them off. If we went to PE, we took them off.
Oh, run around
I
barefoot.
couldn't run with my shoes on. I had to run. I ran barefooted.
You were faster.
I was faster and I could jump. And one of the things was when I went to the movies and saw my favorite cowboys like Roy Rogers or Gene Autry or Hopalong Cassidy. When I left the theater, I wanted to ride like a horse. So I ran home.
Like a horse.
Like a horse. Like the Three Stooges. Yeah. And then we had an orchard there on the side from the housing projects, and we had some grapefruit trees, and the limbs came all the way down to the ground, so I would make my little hole in there, and that would be my little shack or whatever, my little hideout. And then I would climb out there and see who was coming or this or that. Eat the grapefruit.
That's where Andrew gets that from.
They got
Climb
that.
the pine tree.
Yeah, and climb out there and see
who was
who I could
coming,
see.
coming.
Yeah. And then if somebody was coming, I wouldn't make any noise to see if they could
Yeah.
catch you.
Sound like Andrew would do.
But when I would run between the orchards, I would kind of pick up the dirt with my feet or legs, like the horse. They run around. I had a lot of fun. I like being out there in the outdoors. I really did. But as I said, I quit when I started to work at the Echo Hotel. I got a taste of the money, taste of work. So I had a summer job, and then I went back to school, and I didn't like school. I quit the 10th grade, and then I started working.
Full time, all year.
Yeah, full time. And I made $30 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I took home every 2 weeks $28 and like 18 cents because of the deductions.
Wow.
So I gave Mom one check and I kept one check. And I kept my money underneath the mattress.
That was your savings
Yeah,
account,
my savings
your bank
account. Yeah, my banking account under the mattress was the things of the old days. So when I worked that summer, I had all my money underneath, so I waited at the cafeteria or this or that. The only thing was, when I didn't have any money for the cafeteria lunch, I didn't want to take any lunch because I was kind of embarrassed to take the frijoles and all this, and I was embarrassed. So I I had my own bike, and I went out behind the alleys of those gringos. They had all this fruit, and I would eat the grapefruit or the oranges. So I think that's where I got my ulcer from. I didn't know what I was doing. I was filling up my tummy, but it was all the acid was hitting me. So at times when I went back to the house, I had all these pains, these hunger pains. Oh, I could hardly make it home. But I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know a thing. I didn't tell my mom or anything. I'm hungry. So when I got home, I had to lay down from the cot and eat. But I think that's where I got all that acid from, the ulcer, whatever. And I was so thin. Sometimes we used to walk like 2 miles to the house because we didn't ride the bus. We didn't want to ride the bus. We were like machos. Carry all your books. Carry all your books. Yeah. But one of the things that I have always had the fascination of is to fly. We had some laurel trees, bushes around the housing projects, and I used to run and jump right at them. I would jump.
I like that feeling, huh?
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
Just free.
And then I would go all the way through all the bushes, be like floating on the air. And then the homes were 2 stories high, so from the first roof, we used to get up there and then jump from the house. But it was on carpet grass. So maybe that's where I got my hernia from.
Maybe so.
Yeah. All the boom. And then I used to climb trees, and then I would hang from the branch and see how far I could go, and then look down and let go.
That's where Andrew gets that from.
So that's where I get my long arms from
Yeah.
hanging from the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like climbing all the trees that I could. I still do it. Over here, the avocados, I go up there and get all
You'll
the
be the only one
avocados.
here?
Yeah, I still do it.
Just a jungle.
Yeah. Yeah, Lily took a little pause, so. Where should we go from here? Rich?
We're in high school right now. What was your favorite subjects in high school?
My favorite subject, believe it or not, was diagramming sentences, parts of speech, which we call grammar. So on my final semester test in the 9th grade, I made 100, and I was the first one to finish.
Wow.
And I made 100 because it was all parts of speech, noun, pronoun, verb, adjectives, all that. I loved that. I like to break the sentence, the mechanical thing about it. I like to read.
That's neat.
Yeah,
That's neat.
and when I read I could never read an oral reporting because I had a friend who would just and I started laughing and I couldn't keep on. So I would just get a flat 0 because I couldn't do it. I had the kind of a friend who would just
Well, you just clear the throat and you...
yes, or just go tap on.
No, I hate that. I hate that. Oh.
Oh, I couldn't do anything. But then when I had the grammar, I did it by myself. Yeah.
Was there any sports? Were you active in sports or?
No. When I was in junior high, we had a coach. His name was Layton. He was like the Bluto type man. He lifted weights and he played football. He was a husky man that had the chin like Art Lancaster or Kurt Radler, like.
Oh yeah, with the big dimple in it.
Big old guy and had great big old legs, big old arms. And he was our PE coach. And he used to squat. And he just sat there like this. He never moved, all his thighs and his calves were together, so he was just there. And then here we were like this.
Yeah.
Our muscles were so weak. And I said, golly, how can he do that? But all my life, Rich, I wanted to gain some weight. There was these comic books, and they had this, when I saw the Superman comic books, and then they had some advertisements about Charles Atlas. They had this bully throwing sand on the skinny guy who had a nice girl. So he bullies the guy, and then he takes the girl. So he starts to work out, he sees this Charles Atlas course, and he works on, he becomes muscle man. So he comes back to the beach and beats the bull, he takes the girl again. So I ordered the Charles Atlas thing. But it wasn't anything about lifting weights, there's dynamic tension. You just push against something. Dynamic tension, so.
Wow. So Do you remember how long school was? Was it the same as it is now, or?
Yes, about 3:30. The only thing
About
we had
3:30.
longer summer days.
Oh,
But we didn't have spring breaks. We didn't have all these other vacations. We had during the winter. We had 2 weeks. The Christmas.
mhm.
Yeah. But summer days were 3 months. We were out the latter part of May and went back in September. The first part of September. So it was good 3 months. We worked and made money. And then when we went back to classes, we all grew or gained weight or whatever.
Mhm.
But back then the people were not overweight, Rich, because we were so poor and we had to do all this walking.
A lot of work to do too.
Yes, and we didn't have any food stamps to buy all these commodities and all these other things. We didn't have free food or anything. We had to work for what we wanted to have.
Yeah.
And I never had a dad. And that was one of the things when I was a child, I always wanted to have a dad. And one of the things that I really hated was when we had the interviews in school, in front of everybody. Who is your dad? Where is your dad? Eesh, I hated those questions. I hated those questions. I hated those questions.
Mhm.
Because I am an illegitimate child. And then I asked my mom who my father was, where he is or was or whatever before she passed away. She told me his name and so on and so forth. And then, were you there when I found my dad?
I think so, Dad.
Yeah.
Was it in Beeville?
See, you do.
He was
So
a taxi cab driver?
Yes, the one. The old
Yeah.
Tapache somewhere in there.
Yeah, we have a picture of him.
And the saddest thing is, Rich, I wanted to meet my dad. And he sounds foreign to me. The word sounds foreign to me. The only dad that I ever called dad was my grandpa. We called him Apa. My grandpa Apa, because everybody called him Apa. And my uncles called him El Jefe. and my grandma, they called him La Jefa.
That's right.
Yeah. And since my mom was the eldest of the clan of the 12, there were 13 actually. So I have some uncles that are about my age. So they look like brothers to me, or uncles, or cousins.
Oh,
They don't look like uncles.
they had a big family then.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had 8 boys and 4 girls, and 1 passed away. So mom was the eldest. And getting back to the story of when I wanted to meet my dad, she told me all this, la 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 la. But I've always carried my mom's maiden name, Cabrera, which I like very much. And my father's name was Gilberto Mendoza. So they used to put that on my report card, or whatever you want to call it, in school. And I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I hated that. Anyway, since I was married and had children, it took me all this time to find out where he was, and then Mama told me where he was. He was in Beeville. He was a taxi driver. So we went over there, looked him up in the phone book, made some calls. We went to his house. We met his wife.
Wow.
And the first thing, the sixth sense of the woman, she said, "You look like one of my so-and-so's people on her side."
On her side.
Yeah.
Not even no blood related.
Yeah, and so she felt the blood coming in. So I asked where he was. The old man was, he's working at a country club doing this and that. So I took, I went by myself. And then I say, I'm so-and-so, and I am the son of so-and-so, and my mom told me you're so-and-so. Rich, it was the coldest thing that I have ever felt in my life. Not a handshake.
No emotion.
Nothing.
From the photo.
No
I remember seeing the
emotion.
photo. He was just a standstill.
Yeah.
I don't remember him.
I think he was scared or frightened that I was
Mhm.
going to spill the beans or something. That's what I thought. Because I asked him, does your wife know that I am? No, she doesn't know anything. Okay, well, I'm just going to present myself as a relative of Lucas Cabrera, which was my grandfather. Because my grandfather knew all these people. Yeah. Back in Charco, back in the old days. So that was the hardest thing for me. How should I call it? To meet because it was so cold. These people are so cold, right?
So dry.
So dry. But I didn't have any feelings either. I didn't have any feelings because to me, he was like a stranger. And the way he acted, he was even worse. So we went back to the house, and there was little Alex. He looks at me, and then he looks at the old man and said, "There's Daddy's father," in English. He spilled the beans right away. I don't know how he found out. We were probably talking about it, but he said,
Right.
"There comes Daddy's father." But that was the first and last time I visited. I took some pictures here and there. And then my grand-uncle, related to my grandfather, he knew all the story. He was the one that took me to the cemetery where all the relatives are. And he knew Gilbert Mendoza and blah, blah. So I should have been a Mendoza. Cola pestosa.
We're not.
We're not. So,
We're not.
so I took it off the records. And then I asked somebody doing genealogy work. They said, well, you have to go with whom my mom married and he passed away. I said, I don't think so. So I don't do any of the genealogy, Rich, because I'm an illegitimate child, so I cannot go with him.
Yeah,
It would-
it's hard.
It'd be a mess. So I just let it go. Just let it go. So I was expecting a big man, tall man or something. No, it was a little takbachi. Yeah. But I met him. That was the end of things. I never told him who I was or anything. But I hear that he passed away, right? But that's the story. But I was able to see. Yeah, because all this time I always wanted to have a father. I saw other kids with their dad and they were playing baseball, football, or they were pedaling the bikes, or my dad built this for me, or my dad bought me this or that. When I was a kid, I always wanted to have the two gunners. Yeah. And then at the grocery stores, they used to give out green stamps. Hey, Rosita, they're giving out green stamps with tequila. So I saved enough green stamps that my mom gave me. I bought me 2 holster things from Roy Rogers. We went out to McAllen and Herbs and we bought those things. Well, they gave it to us. And then one time I got a watch also. But I was so dumb, I didn't know how to wind the watch. I just went back and forth. That thing would stop. So I took it apart. The thing I had to wind it one way and left it there. But then, yeah, that was it. But I've always had this fascination of flying. I have always dreamt of flying, even up to my age. I felt that I was running, and then I just started to fly. It was it's been a wonderful feeling, Rich. I just started to fly, and I felt like I was on top of the trees with this. Oh, it's so real, so real. I felt it because I've always liked jumping or this or that. But so real. And then getting back to when I was a skinny guy, I always wanted to build muscles, but I didn't have the nutritional knowledge. And probably until I got married and I met Mom, and then she started to feed me something different. And she cooked differently too than my mom. Because Mom and Grandma only cooked was rice and beans and carne guisada. That was it.
That was it.
No salad, no vegetables on the side, or no dessert, jello. Once in a while she made some jello, but all these combinations we didn't have. So I probably gained some weight when I was like 28 years old. All my life was over 100 pounds. And I know my grandma used to say, "Burrito, come over here, let me touch your waist." I had a 26-inch waist. "Ah, let me touch it." I had those, ¿cómo se llaman estos?
No.
Plated pants. So it was
Pants.
my
Your
the waist was this big, and I was all baggy. Yeah. So what I want to say is, and this is what I tell the primary kids, the boys. I tell them, if you get a good habit of exercising, do it for life. Don't just do it to impress somebody or to gain some muscles and then quit and go back to what you used to do. Do it for life and it will last. Don't quit. Don't quit. And it's a good habit for you. But when you get older and married, don't say, I don't have time. You make the time. We all have time. You control your time or whatever. But I've always liked it, Rich. That's why I exercise, because I like it.
Mhm.
My philosophy is to burn. When I don't burn, I don't eat like I should. But when I burn, I drink water like an animal. And I eat whatever I can. But I've always liked to burn. And I don't like to eat with my little...
Like a real man.
Like a real man. Real man.
Oh, that's good.
So I went to Chicago one year, got in trouble, came back. And when I came back, I was almost 20 years old. And then I met your mom. Yeah, I had met her before because her cousins were my friends and we were in school together. When I wanted to join the army, my mom didn't sign. I was underage and she didn't sign, so maybe I would have been a different person or something, or dead or whatever.
Yeah, it's a different.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Because when I was in Chicago, I was drafted to go to NAM.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was drafted in Chicago back in '64. So I got into trouble and came back over here. And I enrolled in McAllen. They got after me. Well, I'm not trying to dash or anything. I'm here. I just didn't like it over there. So from here in McAllen, I went to San Antonio. And I took the written test and the physical test. But in my mind, I said, well, I've been drafted. Why do I have to take the test for the written test? I only did about 50. There were like 100 questions. I only did 50. And I think that's what saved me from going into the war. You know, in my mind, I thought drafted meant you're already in. No, they have to check you first. I didn't know that. So I got 50, and then they checked me on my physical thing, and I was all right. So there were two kind of personnel there that they assigned you to. So you go see what's it called, employment specialist or a medical advisor. And one of the people that were in front of me had some ear problems, so they went to the medical advisor. And I went, what are you going to do with your life? Well, I'm going to work. But I think that's what saved me from going to Vietnam. I think I think the test, I didn't pass the test, the written test, Rich. Just thinking back, I think that's what I failed. But I did it on purpose, because I thought I was already.
Why have to fill?
Yes, why did I have to bother with things? I'm going to Vietnam. You know, President Johnson, all those that are not married by midnight so-and-so are going to be drafted. Or if you are in college, you will not be drafted. So here I was. Yeah, I wanted to go.
You're the perfect one.
Yeah, I wanted to. What was that?
The perfect one for it.
Yeah. So I met Mom after that because I was looking for her cousin. And then they told me they were living in McAllen. And I still have that picture. It was a two-story house, a frame house. And I knocked on the door. I opened the door and there she was. So there. And then she had food.
The way she is.
So,
nice to
hey,
meet
I
you.
like, back in the old days, our motto was, have a woman that will feed you and wash for you and iron your clothes and take care of your babies. That was the motto back in the 50s.
She's perfect.
And she was good for cooking everything. Gee. So I said, I'll take this woman.
Yeah. Sold.
Yeah, so we were for a year together, and then the missionaries came along and they gave us the discussions. I didn't want to get baptized. They used to come around our home when Mom was alive. I used to go upstairs and just listen and say, oh, flesh and bone, don't drink coffee, don't drink tea, don't smoke. That's all I knew.
Remember Mom said that Dad would give him excuses, tell him we're not here, we're not coming. Mom told me that part.
See,
We're watching something and doing something. She goes, yeah. Dad would make excuses.
Because I was working the restaurant. And I used to drink Bacardi with 7-Up.
That sounds good.
Come home and relax.
Oh, did you do that?
Relax,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, so nice, relax. Yeah, so nice.
Sounds good. Well, the bar's open. Just kidding.
So I didn't want to give that up, but I'm so thankful because of the word of wisdom. I'm so thankful for that. It comes in with activities or exercises. It comes in. Otherwise, I would have been sick. Because when I was in Chicago, it was so cold. You just drank that thing from the bottle.
Yeah, and it kept you warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just kept you going. It was so cold over there. And then I started to drink coffee. I never liked coffee. My mom never drank coffee. She never drank beer, and my mom never smoked either. Didn't chew tobacco, or these are the things. All right.
Let's see where we're at. Oh,
But mom.
about meeting mom.
Yeah,
About meeting
meeting mom.
mama.
So then the missionaries came along.
Missionaries, yeah.
The missionaries came along, and then
Like
we
the
had
word of wisdom.
discussions. Yeah, and then I didn't like the word of wisdom and all this and all that. So we joined the church. October. Well, no, I'll take it back. Mom visited the church with the kids, and I never did because I worked on Sundays. I was a waiter at the country club. So I had discussions, and I was baptized beside attending church. And it was on October the 8th, 1966. Okay? And we got married on September 26, 1966. So about a few days later, we got baptized.
Okay.
And then Grandma passed away on October the 8th, 2001. Yeah, October the 8th. It's on a Monday, my day off. So I quit my job so I could attend church. And ever since I was 14 years old when I started working in the restaurant. So I was about 21 when I quit. So I was about 5 years. So I like the thing about the restaurant, you had money every day. The pay wasn't good, but the tips were good.
Yeah.
And you had food. But I still couldn't gain weight. We walked to work.
So there you go. Burn. You burned it. You burned it one way or another, whether you want to.
And then when I was a waiter, there was some shrimp left over. Like here with the table, and maybe a few feet away was a disposable thing. And then just ate.
You were the disposable.
So fast. Anytime to digest or anything. Yeah. But I joined the church, and I didn't like the services. I was used to all of this hollering, yeah, and all this, you know. When I was a kid, they took me to all the churches. I got used to that. Yeah, I got used to that. They were alive, or whatever you want to call it. Went to the Mormon church. I didn't like it. So, December, I was baptized in October, and then the latter part of December, I had an accident. I was working on the freeway before they were built, out there on the Victoria overpass, and I felt like the sky had fallen on me. There was a big funnel, and it hit my friend on the head. He made a big cut, and it hit me on my hip. That's why I have this hip problem. 40 years I had this problem. For 40 years. And the last time, Doc Bishner, the chiropractor, he saw a little dot on my bone. So, I don't want to fool with it until something goes really bad or something. Maybe have a hip replacement.
Hip replacement.
To get better as we go on. So they woke me up. Ever since then, I've been in the church. I've been there. And we were in McAllen. And then from McAllen, we moved to Sherryland. Lillian was born in McAllen. And then we moved to Sherryland. We were about 2 years old. And then we had Becos, and we lived in Far. And then we moved to Mission, and then we had Alex. And then from Mission, I was working as a janitor. I worked 1 year. I almost waited to college, Rich. The teacher's almost inducted me in to go to Pan Am to become a teacher or a coach. No, better not. But I had a wonderful time with that year in school because I played with the teachers and I could fix little things. I could say, and I'm really handy with this and that. And then at the end I had to clean up the work. But we had a lot of fun. But I like playing with the kids out there with the football. I could kick the football further than Mr. Lagarde. He was a little coach and I was taller and I could punt that ball. I always liked punting the ball. And the things the kid would say, janitor, janitor, over here, janitor. Run the ball.
Yeah.
I like that. So primary reminds me of back in those days. Yeah. So from there, from Mission, I got a recommendation. I came over here to Arlington, started working as Spartans Aviation. We moved to the housing projects, no bueno. And then from the housing project, we were about a block away from church. In McAllen, we were half a block from church. Half a block from church. In Mission, we were like 2 blocks from church. But since we moved to La Feria, it's been further and further. So from Arlington, we came to La Feria, and we've always liked La Feria. We lived in a mobile home for 28 years. All the kids were raised there. Even the grandkids like the old mobile home. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Oh, it sounds a lot like, it's quite sad, but
Yeah.
all the grandkids love that.
So by this time you were pretty active in the church then?
Yes.
Yeah, he's always been.
Yeah. Yeah. Really active. And this is one of the reasons why I think I am not prepared for retirement, because when Carlos went on a mission, that's when I started to work. I mean, really work. Mom and I started to do odd jobs, cleaning offices, this and that, cleaning stores. I started cutting palm trees, mowing lawns, and all this and that. And then I had a whole park where I had the kids do summer job lawns. So they had their work, they had their pay and everything. They know how to mow and all those other things to appreciate life. So ever since I've been working, up to this day I've been working, moved here and I'm mowing lawn. But I like it. But my body's not helping me out anymore like back in the old days.
Yeah.
And then back in the younger days I drank a lot of Coke and had a lot of caffeine. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so hyper, so active, and all this and that. That's
Where Andrew gets
gee, I'm going and going and going.
very hyper.
Now if I don't take a Coke, I'll be like, yeah. So but I reduced it down. Now I'm using a little more common sense than just going out there and doing all this work. But
That's good.
I feel by doing all these jobs that the Lord gave me the post office job, because I was working part-time at the First National Bank in La Feria, and they treated me nice, Rick. They really, being a part-timer, they gave me money, they gave me things, you know. I enjoyed it. And I used to go to the post office every day. And then the postmaster said, hey, I think you're a good worker, Mr. Saldiva. Why don't you come work for us at the post office? What do I have to do? Would I have to murder?
Yes.
He said, well, all you got to do is take your physical and then check your background. Oh, fine. So.
We can do that.
But somebody had told me before, I had a friend named Abrigo. He's going to retire in September, Abrigo. He said, Cabrera, come on. We used to work together at the insurance. He said, Cabrera, why don't you work at the post office? I said, do I have to use my own car? Yes. No, I don't want to use my car. Because working the insurance, we have to pay for our gas and everything. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Provide your car. But anyway, then the postmaster told me, oh, right. I said, okay. I felt important. But I think that was the second calling. So ever since, I started working on Saturdays, but I still did a lot of odd jobs until I became full-time. When I quit all this part-time jobs was when I went full-time in Mercedes. Then it was called as the Bishops, everything. All the outside jobs collapsed. But I spent a lot of time in church, this and that, and I didn't have anything for retirement. I really don't have that much retirement. I saved, just spending money for here and there. For education, missionaries and all that. One time we had Carlos in the mission, then we had Bert in the mission too. At the same time. And then Bishop Rupert gave me a check and said, no, I want to do it myself. We want to do it ourselves. So I returned the check. So we made it. And then when others came around, I wasn't doing any odd job, just automatically.
And then now they have a flat rate every month now.
See,
Oh, that's
when
nice.
Alex Alex was 350.
That was a flat rate, yeah. It seemed
I don't know
like
what it is now, 400 or something.
something, but it's all the same, so
See.
it's nice versus different.
Yes,
Some are
but
rich.
still, when we gave Alex the money to the church, he was still short. This and that. So this is what I looked like when I was like maybe 22 years old, Rich. I took this picture because I joined the insurance company and they had, no, I take it back. The Wholesome, I was gonna sell bread, Wholesome bread. And they told me to take off my mustache. The little
Yeah, little-
pinky things that I had back then. I didn't have all this hair like I have now. So a lot of people say I look like Becos, little Steven. Yeah, so you can see Andrew, that forehead right there. I mean, I was sitting with Andrew. With Tate. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody says Andrew looks a lot like you.
Yeah. Just like Phil has only one daughter, and the daughter had a grandson, and the grandson looked like Phil. So Phil has the son that he never had, the grandson. Yeah, he's always looking for his grandpa. Hey, grandpa, grandpa.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he's getting spoiled. And then right here I'm besides a priest.
Yeah, bring your back.
Yeah,
All right, well that's good, Beth.
yeah. The only thing when I was growing up, I was very lonesome because my mom was not educated. Now, I'm not trying to put her down or anything. I'm just telling it like it is. She was not educated, and I felt unsecured. I went to school. She never went to the
Activities,
yes,
functions, so
open
you
house or
felt.
whatever. None of those things because she was probably shy or whatever. And she didn't know the language. She couldn't read or write. She never went to school. She only learned what she could. She could read or write whatever she could. But I felt very insecure. So I made all my decisions by myself. And I was always running around, looking for things to do. I've been in jail twice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In FAR, I got into trouble being with my friends. And I took the rap for somebody else, and then he came out, the one that did the damage,
Oh, really?
came out, confessed, so they released me. And when I was in Chicago, I went to Indiana Harbor, which is next door, Indiana. And I was looking for a girl, and the light switched, so I backed up a little bit, and there was a car behind me, and I tapped him a little bit on the grill. Boom. And they put me in jail.
Oh my goodness.
They put me in jail because I was from Illinois. But then they have this bellsman that come around, put up the bell for you. He took me to the house. Paid him like $50 on it.
Oh, wow.
And that was the only two times I've been in jail. Nothing major or anything. But
That's good.
yeah, I've been in jail.
Hmm.
I was a young man back then. I wasn't married. Yeah. But from there, from the FAR jail, I was going to the county. So the other man who confessed, the other young fella confessed, he went to the county jail. But he had his mom and his dad. I didn't have anybody. So my uncles came and took me home. They took me home. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, 1 minute of it. Oh, all right,
Okay.
keep the tape down. Let's see what else. Something on the notes. Let's see, talk about brothers and sisters. Like how many brothers and sisters do you have?
well, I have Santos, the eldest, and then there's Maria next, and then I'm in the middle. And then we have Olga, and then we have Hito, and then we have Lucy. And then here we go again. I've been delivering the mail for Lucy Cabrera here in Westland. Just like Lillian Cabrera. Yeah. But I have enjoyed life. The Lord has blessed me with a good physical body. I'm not perfect in any way. But I've always liked to work. I've always liked to do things. When I go visit our children, I've always liked to do things. I don't like to be sitting around. Because when I sit around, I think I'm becoming old. In other words, it's like the river. When the river flows, it goes, but when you stop it, all the things just getting there, you know, stagnation, whatever you want to call it, pollutes or whatever. I feel the same way. I feel like my veins are being plugged up if I don't burn them. This is the locomotive.
I like to travel. He's traveled.
Yeah, I like to drive.
I like to drive.
I like to drive, enjoy driving, enjoy the scenery. I don't like to be driving 90 miles an hour and put on the brakes. No, I like to enjoy the ride.
We do a lot of family trips.
Yeah.
So
Places in Mexico. Where else have we been?
you're close to the family then?
Yes, yes.
We do a lot of family stuff together.
Right now I'm teaching primary at the 8 and 11 years old, and I'm enjoying it. I've been there 3 years, going on 4. And since I've been having a lot of calls at church, this is the one that I really enjoyed because I'm there.
It's your focus.
Yes, it's my there every Sunday. It's there. The thing about it is the gospel is real. There is a God. I've been reading this book where they say that there isn't any God. All this myth, whatever, it's all a bunch of baloney. It says reality is reality, creation is creation. And that's it. With the testimony of Joseph Smith, his first vision, I agree that there is a God, a creator. And I'm just going to stick to that because I cannot say who created God or Heavenly Father, and I'm not going to go into all the mysteries. But I feel that He has blessed us very much. Especially our little boy, they only guaranteed 8 years, and here he is 31 going on 32.
That's Adrian.
Adrian, our little angel here in our home. He's been a blessed little boy.
Well, that's good.
Is that all right?
5 more minutes if you can go.
You can go. 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, alrighty. Okay.
The phone ringing. That's good. Let's watch movies. I know, Papa, we always like to watch movies. Drive-ins. Remember the drive-in?
Back in the drive-ins, it used to cost $1 for the whole carload.
I used to do
Watch
that
2
with
movies,
cars,
and I
yeah.
used to nap.
Sleep, yeah. Papa would always
So
sleep.
tired. Worn
So you all would fit in the same car?
Station wagon.
Yeah,
We
Lord.
got
Station
station
wagon.
wagons.
How much? How many?
There was what?
Was there?
I don't know, whoever, 4 or 5. I don't know if Carlos and Bert were there.
Yeah,
with
they
us
were there too.
Yeah.
We take one of those 2-liter drinks and share and all this and that.
Yeah.
Outside.
yeah, big
Just sit out on beach chairs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I sit on the rocks,
Papa would be asleep and we'd have fun.
yeah.
That's enjoyment.
But the drinks were not expensive, but the thing is we didn't have the money. We didn't have the money. And when I was working the mid-market, I always made sure the boys had plenty of meat. When they were working football, and Lily, when she was in band, had plenty of food on the table because
We did.
I lacked all that nourishment when I was a young man.
Oh, you look healthy now.
Looks good.
I'm an old.
Oh, you're healthy look now.
Looks good. Looks
Healthy.
good considering.
Yeah, I've always been an enemy of obesity. What do you call it? Overweight?
Yeah, overweight.
Yeah, but because I'm always thin and I could jump over fences, but nothing I have this hernia. I can't do it anymore. I'm afraid to drop, but I could just go by the fence, flip like Superman or whatever. I've always liked doing things, but I've slowed down because of the age and the injuries that I have. It's a little bit different.
It does that to you.
I'm still pedaling my bike. I started pedaling the bike again. I'm trying to build a bench press. I bought me the Olympic 300-pounder. I have it in the storage room, in the shed.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I bought me a little bench for $5 for the meantime. Yeah. But I hurt my shoulder because of all the letters, and then I lifted too wide and it hurt my shoulders. So I have to lay off for a little while.
Yeah.
Then I started pedaling the bike and started to walk with Mom and all this and that.
Yeah.
We used to have a car like this, my friend and I. It's a '54 Chevy, and it was standard. Back in the old days, everything was standard. No air conditioner, no power steering, no power brakes, AM radio.
Big old knob, right?
Yeah, big old.
Chrome
Everything was metal. Everything
Was it colored like that too?
No, it was green.
Oh.
We call it the greenie. But he bought it in Idaho. But the chips were on the left side. But that thing was a 6-cylinder that would pick up 60 miles on second shift.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Cool.
Okay, we only have 1 minute left. Anything you want to get for last?
Amen.
Yeah, amen, hallelujah.
Amen to that.
Someday we'll meet again somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rich. I
You're
enjoyed it.
welcome.
That was
Thank you
fun.
very much.
You're welcome, Dad.